Welcome back to the 2014 World Championship. We are setting up for our final game of the day as Samsung Blue will be taking on LMQ. And earlier today, Samsung, they took a very tough loss to Fnatic. I think they were strategically outplayed most of the game, if not all of the game. And Fnatic really showed up. So Samsung Blue will have to bounce back from that earlier defeats.
I think Fnatic definitely excelled so hard on individual play. They won their lanes, something that we know is going to typically happen against Samsung Blue. It's also something that LMQ excels at, which is a good matchup here. But also just the individual performances by Fnatic held Samsung Blue down. Now, if this is Dade having another bad trip to Worlds, that's not a good thing at all for Samsung Blue.
No, I definitely agree with that. Deft as well, somebody who looked pretty good yesterday, less so against Fnatic, Doublelift.
I wouldn't say he looked good. I think, honestly, I don't know. I think Deft has played too much Kog'Maw, to be honest. His positioning has not been great throughout Worlds. Actually, even in their win, he got hooked. And that early game, there was a 4-man TP play on him where he died. So I feel like Deft needs to stray away from these non-mobility AD carries and really just kind of cover up his weakness, which right now is positioning.
Well, we'll have to see if he can do that in this matchup. Of course, LMQ on the other side, this is a team that surprised all of our analysts. They went 2-0. You know, Crumbs, you did have faith in them early in the day against OMG, not against Fnatic. But, you know, they stepped up yesterday, Crepo.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to, like, is this progression going to continue? And is Xiao going to solo kill Dade? Is that going to happen? Is that actually a possibility? Because before this tournament, we were all thinking that would be impossible. And if we looked at the tier list, everybody would have ranked him way below. But Dade hasn't been playing that well. Xiao has.
I want food for thought, just if we go back to earlier in the day when Monte Cristo was just talking about this matchup. He felt that the lane might be boring as both of these players have the ability to just sit back and farm and wait until they impact those team fights. Crumbs, do you think that's a possibility? Do you think junglers are going to come into play at all if they go for that slower mid laning phase?
No, I would not be surprised if we see more Zed. I think that Zhao would probably be comfortable taking a matchup against him right now. And Dade, he's impressive on Zed. Like, don't get that out of the question. But I think that you can take, it's definitely a matchup that you can take. It's not like this champion instantly wins it for you.
Well, Doublelift, save your thought for predictions because we do need to move this one along. So, locking it in, who is going to pick up a win here? Fnatic beat Samsung Blue earlier today. LMQ is currently undefeated in their group. Who is your winner? Samsung Blue or LMQ? Crepo, you're first.
Since I've been so bad at predictions, I'm just going to flip a coin real quick. And yeah, I'm going to go with Blue.
I'm calling red.
I call shenanigans. That was a really fast graphic change.
Doublelift. Who are you picking and why will they win?
Samsung Blue. But honestly, it's so hard to say. I've just picked them because they're favorites just because they're Korean. And I feel like if they just change up their picks a little bit, then they should be able to beat LMQ, but it's so hard. It's like 55-45.
Freak, who's picking up the win?
I'm definitely saying Samsung Blue as well. They have consistently fought against early game teams and managed to handle them. I don't know what's going on today in Worlds. Everyone's beating everybody, but you still have to go with the odds are Samsung Blue wins.
Now, Crumbs, you're the final voice of reason. You've gone one with LMQ. You've got one against LMQ. All of us are like leaning in. Like, what's he going to say?
Yeah,
what's he going to say? Who's going to win?
I'm going to go with the team that I think has the edge in this matchup right now, currently today, because it was told to me in a dream. LMQ is going to take it.
And what is it that they have the edge over in today?
I think that that loss was horrendous for Samsung Blue. I think that is probably the worst loss in the worst possible manner that you can take it. And to recover from that one, I mean, I've mentioned before that, the psychological aspect of it, and I've been wrong in that regard, especially in Group A and regarding the AHQ and EDG matchup. But I think that this one really struck out in terms of how it affected the players from Blue, and Dot'd probably be having a little bit of flashbacks from his previous Worlds, and I really want to see that LMQ and going in that upswing, meeting Blue, and perhaps it could be a downswing.
Well, we will find out very, very soon and see how you guys at home have been voting. According to LOLesports.com, 73% of you are sitting with Samsung Blue, so that is mirroring the analyst desk percentages. Let's send this one over to the caster desk to get us back into the action. And on the way, Samsung White had a perfect 6-0 start to the World Championship. Now all eyes are turning to the other Korean teams with one question on their minds. Can they dominate their groups? Samsung Blue have not.
Samsung White going to push through, pick up the perfect group stage here?
I've got to ask, can anyone stop Samsung White?
형제 팀이기 때문에 부담감은 되게 많이 느끼고
부담감이 좀 상당히 있고요. 저희도 6전 전승을 해야 하지 않을까 생각하고 있어요.
다 6경기를 봤는데 되게 완벽하게 아무튼 되게 잘했잖아요. 저희도 뭐 6전 6판을 다 이기는 거에 대해서 자신감은 있지만 좀 그렇게 좋은 모습을 보이면서 할 수 있을지에 대해서는 약간 부담감이 있어요.
사실 한국에서 제일 잘하는 팀을 꼽자면 삼성 화이트라는 의견이 많잖아요. 근데 저희가 이번 선발전에서 뛰어난 모습을 보여드렸고 또 그 기세가 아직 남아있기 때문에 삼성 화이트랑 아마 붙어보면 밀리진 않을 것 같은 자신감이 있거든요.
낮은 실드입니다.
2조에서는 삼성 화이트를 제가 생각하기에 이길 수 있었던 팀이 딱히 없었던 것 같아요. 네, 이제 C조나 D조는 그거 그룹 A보다 좀 더 세기 때문에 방심하면 안 되고 이제 방심 안 한다면은 거의 그 퍼펙트한 경기를 보여줄 수 있을 것 같아요.
한국 저희 세 팀이 진출한 게 되게 힘들게 진출했었고 그 실력이 아마 이번 월드 챔피언십을 통해서 되게 증명될 것 같아요.
Well, one thing is for sure, Samsung White put on a heck of a performance over in Taipei in Group A.
And to answer you, no, nobody did stop them yet.
Nobody did stop them, that's for sure. So let's take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams. Starting out, of course, on the blue side, it is the #1 seed from Korea, Samsung Blue, currently on the back of a loss. Starting out in the top lane is Acorn, in the jungle is Spirit, Dade in the mid lane, Deft as AD carry, and Hart on support.
That's right, and on the red side, it's LMQ from the North American LCS. That means it's Ackerman in the top lane, No Name in the jungle, Xiao in the mid lane, AD carry is Vasily, and as usual, supporting him is Moore. This game will be heading to the bot lane. It's going to be our showdown of the supports in our featured matchup. That is going to be Hart versus Moore.
Yeah, and if you look at the two supports here, Hart, he's played Nami both its games, and on the side of Moore, Thresh 2 games. And Moore's actually been outperforming Hart in terms of like big plays and setting up kills for his team. But we have to say Hart, at least yesterday on Nami, he looked very, very solid. Kill participation for both supports is on 86%. That is very, very high. They're part of pretty much all the kills the team is setting up. And it also shows the play style of the teams. We have LMQ. Again, they like to 5 versus 5 team fight. And at the same time, Samsung Blue, same deal for them.
And the thing is, it was brought into question when we wanted to bring this up because we were talking about Moore and how good he's been. But everyone was like, oh, but he's missing hooks. It's like, it doesn't matter. If he lands the ones that count, it doesn't matter how many you throw.
The thing is, yeah, his laning phase, I wouldn't call it shaky, but it's not where he's been dominating. It's once you get out of the laning phase, he's been able to set up picks left and right, a bit like Gorilla has been able to do for Najin White Shield. And it really helps, especially when you play these fight comps LMQ-like, where once you get the engage from the support, everyone else can just hard engage onto it and win the fights.
And I wonder what they're going to be looking for, because if Moore does get those hooks, Deft was quite on the front line, making some mistakes in the last game. Deft known to be dodging skill shots and hitting skill shots, so they may have something to focus on right in the beginning.
And we need to make it clear, you know, in this group, the pressure is very much on Blue right now. They are 1-1 in this group. LMQ are 2-0. They could be 3-0 if they can take this one. They've already seen a very shaky Samsung Blue. They know that they've got to take it to them early. And that is exactly what they can do and what they've done already in the World Championships.
They've been running these mid-game comps here, which are so strong, and they win the early team fights and just snowball the game completely. Pick some bans here. I mean, we have a few bans like Lee Sin we're going to see often.
Oh, yeah.
Spirit is a greatly sim player, but I feel like No Name is a greatly sim player as well. This was simply because they don't want Samsung Blue to first pick it.
Remember, Ackerman has played Rumble twice already.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is a ban, whether Samsung Blue feel it's worthy of a ban, more importantly. The Alisson Zillion being banned out there. Zillion, we've already seen it. Every game I think he's played in has won so far. I think he's got a 100% win rate, maybe, especially in Singapore so far. Bans coming through. Rise taken away from Acorn. Acorn was incredible on that one.
And Dade as well.
Tell a lie, it was a save that was incredible on that one.
Rise again, I mean, this is mainly a ban against Dade, who is a fantastic Rise player. Acorn, I don't actually recall seeing him play Rise top lane. Nami ban, even though Hart played it twice. Is this going to be a Thresh first pick for Samsung Blue? You ban out the second support for Moore then? Is that what we're looking at here? I mean, Lee Sin is already banned, could have been a first pick. Zillion is banned by Samsung Blue. If Maokai is left open here by LMQ, again, they might bait Samsung Blue into first pick it and then take Rumble into it. But with this Nami ban, I'm probably looking at Thresh first pick from Samsung Blue.
Absolutely. Playmaking to come in from Hart. Shot caller for Samsung Blue, and he's going to be able to make some hook calls as well to help them out with that.
Yeah, and of course we've seen LMQ not only first pick the Thresh, they played it twice already. We talked about how more outside of the laning phase was able to set up a lot of team, but to make some big plays here.
Both of their wins, Moore's had Thresh. So.
Exactly. Well, 2 games they've played as well, so they really, I mean, it's been the #1 pick for him. Hart can take it now. Ban away the Nami themselves, and Kha'Zix being locked in. It's often what we see when Lee Sin is banned. The other team will instantly just grab the Kha'Zix as the 2 top-tier picks because nobody in Singapore so far has been playing Rengar. I know that Spirit can play it, but we haven't seen it yet.
One thing we do know is Vasily absolutely loves Tristana if this gets locked in. Will very much have a comfort pick. No Name was brought into question, honestly. Maybe his play style coming into this tournament. He had a rough time over at the PAX qualifiers.
Yeah.
But he has got himself on that Kha'Zix. Maokai, of course, did slip through the cracks.
Wow.
It is going to get locked in for Acorn in that top lane. Riven was picked earlier on. Will it be locked in again?
So this Maokai pick here should mean LMQ can run Rumble into it, but we might see Samsung Blue put a lot of effort on trying to shut him down one-on-one in the laning phase with Spirit camping this top lane here. What we have seen so far from Samsung Blue is you can tell by their warding where do they put their focus. If Spirit goes to the top lane and put a lot of deep wards, we know he's going to camp the top lane. They can do it against Rumble. We saw Lep being shot down by Wicked and Shook in the last game. And once you fall behind, you are still pretty useful, but then as long as you can dodge around the team fights, well, in the mid game at least, Rumble suddenly lose some of his power.
See, the J4 was brought in against Fnatic from Samsung Blue. Spirit felt quite good on it. 2-2-3, not a bad score, but it does initiate their go-ahead fight. They love to get those late-game team fight in impeccable at just winning those fights and being able to take
Rumble,
more after it. And a Braum we see coming in.
Yeah.
Pepper will be happy.
Pepper will be happy. Finally, we get to see it here, actually. So Samsung Blue side, a lot of engaged already. You have the Jarvan, you have the Maokai, you can dive onto the back line. But Rumble wants people who dives to the back line and then he puts his ulti down behind them and he zones away their own back line and you just take out the tanks because nobody else can do any damage due to the Rumble ult. LMQ here should be pretty happy about this matchup in the top lane, but Samsung Blue must have a plan to try and shut down shut down Ackerman in the early game. It would be kind of weird if Vasily played the Rumble.
Well, they built themselves a brick wall in the form of Maokai and Jarvan. Let's see where the damage is going to come from. Will it be the Twitch for Deft? Will it be the Yasuo for Dade? Deft looking to possibly switch over to the Corki. Yasuo is locked in for Dade in that mid lane.
Such a standard combo from Samsung Blue, though. Very, very strong in these 5 versus 5 team fights. You have a lot of hard engage. You have good scaling into the late game with Yasuo and Maokai. Corki will fall off into the late game compared to Tristana, but then you have some mid-game power now. You need that mid-game power against the likes of a Rumble. And LMQ side, they have the Rumble for mid-game, but both Fizz and Tristana actually want to go to the late game before they really want to start fighting. So we might see a bit of a different play style from LMQ. But they do still have this Rumble here for this mid-game power spike.
And overall, we have to question if Samsung Blue has shaken off the loss earlier. We saw Deft very affected by that emotionally. Dade as well, the pressure on him to not perform like last Worlds, and something that's coming into the light there.
It was a big part in why he was switched in teams. He went across to Samsung Blue. He is, as far as we know, one of the main players on there, though, of course, communication-wise, we've no idea how it goes in game. We know how it goes outside of game, and he's a very quiet person in himself. I just wonder how much that loss may have affected him personally.
I mean, obviously, if he thinks back to Worlds last year, it was horrible for him. He became a bit of a laughing stock in Korea, but he's definitely been picking it up this year. He's been actually one of the shot callers as well for the team in-game. We had the feature on him where he was talking about how
he's the general.
He's the general, and he's the guy who's going to yell louder than everyone else in the game because he wants to win.
And don't walk next to him because he'll probably slap you. So we'll see this coming in before the champs start littering the Rift. Tweet at LOL Esports with either the hashtag SSB win or LMQ win. And we'll update the poll once we are into the game. Almost there, and looking at Xiao in the mid lane. No regular season plays on Fizz, so we're going to see what he can pull out here on the world stage.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the mid lane as well. Of course, Xiao has performed impeccably so far at Worlds. Questioned, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ranked at the bottom as well by very own Monte Cristo at the start of this one, but as of yet, he has performed fantastically well. We'll see how his Fizz matches up to Dade's Yasuo. It isn't going to be a very tough challenge for them. LMQ, can they keep their perfect record? Can they go 3-0 in this group that many had them finishing bottom of the table?
Yeah, and both teams in this game here running some very, very strong teamfight comps, and it's what we're used to seeing from both teams. They want to fight, they want to get in your face, and Xiao actually, when he played Assassins earlier in the split, he would often actually go and start split pushing late on, and now he's going to have a one-on-one against Dade in the late game in a potential split push, and Fizz scales so well. Gonna get an hourglass as well, and you have this one-shot potential going into the late game as a Fizz.
I love it, the story of these games. Mid lane and mid game coming out of everything for these groups. A lot of power from those. We've seen a lot of the AD carries be the beneficiaries of these fights and being able to clean them up. We'll see if Vasily can do that. Resets for LMQ with Kha'Zix and Triss, so that's going to play into their fight style.
One great ulti here from Ackerman. He gets the backline from Samsung Blue low, and suddenly you can see both No Name and Vasily jump in, get the first kill, get their reset, and use that to simply clean up the fight here. So we're going to see a lot of action in these team fights here, both teams. Some very explosive ones. Not a lot of engage on the side of LMQ. In that sense, they kind of want Samsung Blue to jump onto them and then use the Rumble to separate the Samsung Blue team and single out targets. You have single target damage from the Fish, you have it from the Tristana and from the Kha'Zix here. So the Rumble is going to be so important. Split up Samsung Blue, get the small skirmish, get the isolation damage, and then just burst down a target at a time.
Samsung Blue making the push on the red buff while Spirit takes his own. So this is going to be a double red buff start for Samsung Blue, and that's going to steal a lot away from No Name early on in this game.
And that's what happens when you have the lane swap here and one team makes an aggressive move on your buff and the other team simply sits in the lanes. You will pretty much every single time lose a buff. So great start by Samsung Blue. They get a lane swap against Rumble as well. Rumble can do fine. Oh, sorry. Marker can do fine in a one-on-one. Ackerman, we have seen this before. Just sitting in the bush, getting XP. Don't tell anyone. If Samsung Blue didn't watch the NALCS, they won't know the trick.
Uh-oh. Who doesn't watch? No, actually. That finds him. Red buff to death as well, so he's going to take a little bit more damage than he would like to in this one. What did Hart take? Looks like he did take the play first.
Oh, the Ignite's gone down. He's going to try and kill him out. So it will force him very low. He's got to go back to base.
He's going to go back to base. He couldn't stay in the lane anyway here. Samsung Blue, though, because they actually did the red buff, I'm not sure if they got a free started up in this top lane. Oh, I see. Will push down towards LMQ, and that's why you also see Akon and Spirit instantly joining the top lane. They can ward in the lane now, already have a place by Hart. And if someone from LMQ walks into the lane to try and pick up all this lovely farm being pushed into the tower, because Samsung has to bounce it off, they will die.
Seeing that Ignite down to the top lane, so a little bit of pressure relieved there. They've brought it now to the bottom. That more on
Oh, Ackerman, you need to be careful, mate. That is not the place for you to be at the moment.
But he just wants to get back to lane and farm. Dade, Xiao going back and forth, trading evenly on that first one. Lane trying to stay pushed a little bit here so Dade doesn't get hit up into the turret. Xiao going aggressive. Ooh. Not what he wanted to take that tower shot. Whoa, early Dragon aggro trade here. We're going to see if LMQ can quickly put this one in their favor.
Just the correct response here by LMQ. They know there's 4 members in the top lane because the wave was pushing in here and they wanted to make sure they could deny Rumble. And obviously that means early Dragon for LMQ here. Samsung Blue should have the timer. They know it's going down. They know it's happening. And can just time it. That's them valuing experience over getting the early gold here from the Dragon.
One big difference in this mid lane between Xiao and Dade is the fact that Dade's come in equipped with the exhaust, and of course this is Ignite for Xiao. There is an exhaust on LMQ, but it is on more, so it's not going to be useful until they do finally group up for those team fights later on. Bit of a buddy system required, I think. Ackerman has finally sauntered off and said,
Same deal.
Can you help me out, buddy? I'm kind of lacking in experience. Uh-oh, they are setting a trap here. And I got a feeling the Moore's going to walk into
the sword ward. The sword
placed on top of his face.
Oh, that actually saved LMQ here. They were about to run under the tower because, again, Deft is pushing it into the tower over and over. So the gank, once again, from Samsung Blue, not actually paying off.
That was a great idea by Blue as well. They timed the minion wave on their side on the bottom, so it wouldn't be seen, but like we said, Braum being there at the time. Not mentioned before, as we get a little bit of action in the mid lane. Level 5 to not. That's right, the Ignite's still there. Flash is down, just used from Dade. Back and forth, there's the exhaust. And a 3v4 fight in the top lane. Ackerman very low. One last attack to him, but somehow he limps away from the fight. Action right out of the gate.
And again, he saves his flash up in this top lane here. He knew he could escape. Samsung Blue want to zone LMQ away from this tower. Meanwhile, though, down his bottom lane, Vasili's just saying, I can just sit here and farm forever.
Yeah, it's working out great for him. Vasily just getting all of the experience. You can see he's just hit level 5. He's got the edge over Def so far, still equal in farm, but he is soaking up all of that experience. The hook lands on more. He has to pull away from this one. A great play this time around from Hart. Can they lock down that first blood? Unbreakable. Is it enough to keep him away? Spirit takes 2 towers.
Oh, no name.
No name comes in. He has to flash away. And now, LMQ, they're going to keep on pushing.
The turret finally went down, so they can actually exit through this way. That was huge for them. It is coming in. That's going to be Acorn. Locks down Ackerman. He didn't use Flash earlier, but it looks like he's going to be going down this time. And Perseverance pays off for Blue in the top lane.
And Samsung Blue here, they don't even care about Vasily sitting in this bottom lane farming. They wanted a tower, traded for the Dragon, and also Acorn getting an experience lead against Ackerman. It's all about shutting down this Rumble as much as you can early on. This was why they left it open. This was why they picked the Maokai into it as well, because they wanted to lane swap and just deny him as much farm as possible.
While this is all happening, we've had this duel going on in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Both have burned Flash, both have burned the Exhaust and Ignites, so it's all summoner spells down. It's just a straight up brawl between Xiao Zhao and Dade. They keep fighting. John the Waters completely misses. This time around, Xiao goes out. There's the ultimate. Blindfold tricks us away. The South lane is chased it. It's going to catch on towards him. He gets away. Ackerman comes in. He's taken low. Unbreakable from more, just about stopping the damage. Death Sentence land pulls him in. Dade taking low, slides out the way. Moon's in trouble. He goes down, and it is all going Pete Tong for Samsung Blue.
They're winning all the small fights here. Samsung Blue once again get out ahead. They have 2 kills on the mark early on. They got a kill on Dade as well. Xiao managed to stay alive. The sapling didn't actually get him.
Just calm down. Everybody calm down. Wow, what an amazing start to this game. Blue, you figure they were playing against white here with the amount of aggression we just saw in the early game. Let's see this again, because this fight was incredible. That wall to start as well.
So LMQ also should know the fact that Samsung Blue can move their members from the top lane down towards this mid lane here and surprise them, or should actually be able to surprise them. Yet they come down here, they keep taking the fight, they win it once again. Xiao was already gone. Dade come in, get a last hit. Did actually manage to get it down. Then Samsung Blue just finish it up, but LMQ right here, they should have known Samsung Blue could move from the top lane. They just killed the tower down to this mid lane.
Dade with the last ditch effort to get himself out, and he does safely. Wow, Def putting down a lot of damage there. Safety from Hart brought in with the Dark Passage shield, so they stay safe and they keep this lane pushed. They are down a bit in CS from everything that's been happening. Everybody that's been kind of called out of the lane. More with a nice Unbreakable, keeps that from hitting Vasily. They keep the farm under the turret quite nicely. Back to this mid lane. There's a blue buff on Xiao, but you can see Dade not afraid to trade with that cooldown Fizz, and it looks like he's going to put him on a skewer right now. Jump the Waters comes out. Beautiful job on dodging the Trickster. The last dash to get out, and Dade is seeing these things way before he needs to make them happen, and that's why he's always in the right spot.
Just dancing around on the minions here, getting out of tough situations. Didn't have his flash. Bottom lane though, more action.
Oh, Vasily having to jump away from that one. Dodgy sidesteps. The stun goes on to Hart. They try and follow him up here. It's a good turn around from Def though, and they will keep him at bay right now. This game, it's teetering on the edge. A lot of aggression. And again, Dade slides on through. Xiao, he's being baited into it. Gets caught out with the ultimate. Spirit comes around, but a playful trickster again from Xiao gets him to safety.
When you have 2 melee champions in this mid lane, they're just constantly going to fight it. They're going to keep doing it throughout the entire game long, because they're the ones who are going to face each other in split push as well if they want to go for it. It's not over yet between Xiao and Dade.
Dade also looking to put down those kills and prove himself once again. Yasuo something he's going to be able to do that on. And we see now Spirit looking to make some deep moves for the team. At least get the wards in to create some opportunities for themselves. You see wards also coming out from more. Everybody kind of chills out for a second. We have a lot of action.
Look at the focus on all the deep wards here from Samsung Blue. Let's see what Ackerman can do. He's 2 levels behind in this top lane.
Yeah, overheating, can't do a great deal. It's a big difference between him and Acorn because, as you said, he's 2 levels behind. All the kills went Acorn's way early on, which is kind of alleviated and going to mitigate that little spike that Rumble would have got normally over the Maokai, but instead he's way ahead in build right now.
And it was basically just Samsung Blue with this top lane swap and focusing on constantly just making sure Akuma could never go to the lane. I mean, he didn't farm the jungle. The only thing he did was walk down to drag and take it. Again, it doesn't give him a lot of XP compared to getting minion experience in the lane here. And Samsung Blue, all the focus was just on shutting him down early.
And we can see it's not just Lep that gets consideration on Rumble when they play it. It's just been too strong, if not taken down a notch in the early game. With the Dragon alive right now, Blue, with their fight prowess, is going to take it to LMQ, put something else on their plate.
And it's just great timing. I mean, there's no ulti for Ackerman. He's not level 6 either. He can't really join a fight, which means Samsung Blue can take the first Dragon here. Def just take down his bottom and doesn't even actually join. Just needs to be there for safety. And LMQ have to give up the Dragon. The Rumble is too far behind. Let him farm. Let your Fizz farm as well. But notice all the deep wards we've seen from Samsung Blue here. To spot out No Name, and especially in this top lane, one of them just disappeared. They wanted to make sure No Name couldn't sneak in and have a lane gank onto Acorn out there and help Ackerman come back in the game.
Samsung Blue are continuing to push their advantage. Ball hooked in. They're going to follow through on this one. Unbreakable comes around the side. He just hops to safety on Vasily. Bit of a unanswered aggression between the jungler and support there. LMQ, meanwhile, sweep out the walls and play it safe for now.
But Samsung Blue, they got everything they wanted to do right here with the invade. Place 2 more deep wards. Once again, you can spot where LMQ is going. You can see if they are rotating to a lane easily. You can even try and get a pick in the jungle. Samsung Blue right now is basically just putting full focus on warding in the jungle of LMQ, getting as much information as possible, and then you can make the aggressive plays in the other lanes.
Aggression indeed. This looks like the mid turret could be taking quite a lot of hits as 4 members of Samsung Blue group to the mid lane here. LMQ is forced to react and adapt, but they're not even the step close to do it. Deft here in the bottom lane, just letting the experience go to waste. It would be Vasily's. He's going to be taking this turret down as well and gets that gold for staying in range.
Yeah, Blue know they have the numbers advantage because, again, Ackerman is forced to sit in top lane and farm. You can see Vasily down his bottom lane and they had the ward to spot anyone else on LMQ. Just move in. Fizz can wave clear when you're already pushing on the tower and take it down.
Xiao Zhao needs to get a couple more items before he can start creating problems for Dade, who seemingly has his number early on in this stage. They are keeping themselves even in farm right now. LMQ counter with something here, but there's not a lot for them to take, honestly. They're pushing down the bottom. They're going to take on Deft.
That's going to be a teleport as well. Already down here is Acorn. Deft tries to go back the other way. It doesn't look like he's going to get out of this situation alive. Will go down. Good play by the bottom lane of LMQ to get a little bit back.
And we have seen this before from Deft during this World Championship. I mean, the guy is staying so far up his lane and nobody else from Samsung Blue is nearby to help him. Nobody else is in a position to push a lane, which means it's completely risk-free for LMQ to walk down, kill him. No other lane is going to get pressured at the same time. So that was just, once again by Deft, greedy play. Over-aggressive in his positioning.
Actually, that teleport from Ackerman now down on that play. Acorn hanging out in the top lane, being a tree, doing what he can to keep his farm up, and then even have to join that fight. And they're going to keep themselves going in each lane. Ackerman goes back to the top lane to keep his farm going. Down 20 there, trying to pick up after all that pressure in the early game.
He should definitely have canceled his teleport. He didn't need to go down there now. It's on cooldown. He didn't even get an assist because obviously Death knew he was going to die. He could definitely have saved it and put a bit more focus on the farming. But again, if he could pick up a kill, maybe come back in the game.
That's one fast Braum.
He needs to be hot-footed as well because there was a death sentence coming his way that now we're winding it up. Hart sticking around in this bush for a very long time without any support right now. He's all on his own in that jungle. And now, No Name's going to find him. He forces him away. He has got support in terms of Acorn now. He's going to keep him around. Going back up in that jungle.
Doing what he can.
Oh, wow. Ulti.
Whoa. Samsung Blue still wants those fights, and they're going to try to go for it. Chum the Waters. He almost walks it back into the team. A little bit of a misplay by Spirit, but it looks like they are able to kind of recuperate here, get themselves into a safe spot. See the pressure from
Look at this
Deft
lane,
in the bottom lane.
He's just pushing it. He wasn't even part of the fight. It was only 4 members from Blue and 4 members from LMQ. Ackerman was sitting in the top lane as well.
Deft with that Triforce finished up, so he's going to be able to take down these turrets if nobody pays him attention. More coming down here with Vasily as well. Great shots, and those are the skill shots we talk about Deft being able to hit. See if you can keep dodging them throughout the game here.
Yeah, and once you get your Trinity Force completed on Corki, you just...
Wow, there's a dodge for you.
You hit such a big mid-game power spike, and Retrostana is going to be very, very weak. So Vasily is going to need some time. If he wants to try and one-on-one with someone like Death, he's going to have to go to late game.
So, Dade backs off. He continues his pressure on them. Oh, look at this. They're setting up. Vasily caught that, hooked in. He's going to go down. Or is he? The rocket jump. No, Def comes in, finishes the job.
All about the lane ward here, placed by Samsung Blue a few minutes ago. Using it, waiting for Vasily to move down. You land an easy hook. He's not expecting it, and you get the kill.
And look why he thinks he's safe. There's wards all around there, but they were just setting up shop, cooking s'mores in the Tri-Brush for quite a while, so Vasily walked right into that one, didn't get any s'mores for himself. 4-1, 16 on the clock right now. We're already up to second tier turrets. No turrets yet for LMQ. They have been playing it a bit safe.
The group of Death is absolutely living up to his name right now. Opening things up. If Samsung Blue were to take a victory, it would put both of these teams at 2-1. Long way to go for that one. Look at the amount of ping wards. Every single member of Samsung Blue picks one up. They lock in. Xiao Zhao slides away. But Acorn on his own, forcing that 2v1 and forcing LMQ to respect them.
Yeah, trying to see if you can force a summoner away from LMQ here, because Dragon is spawning. We're going to have a big fight for it. All the ping wards here by Samsung Blue can be used around this Dragon to secure it, get full control of it, and then LMQ has to walk into your face. It's a bad situation where you can easily engage onto them. The Yasuo can jump in, and you have the Corki with Trinity Force and a Magic Pen Boots completed now.
LMQ is trying to bring the greens to the table. The vision wards for them as you see them littering their inventory. We'll see how much these are placed down. A few coming in from Samsung Blue to make sure they have the ground they want before they probably start the fight before the Dragon. I'm sure that'll happen first.
A lot of poke though from Def.
Oh no! Oh, no name. Very, very low on that one. Moore's gonna have to put up Unbreakable, throws down the Glacial Fissure, but he will still be taken down by Dade. Here comes the hook onto Ackerman, throws down a nice equalizer in the bottleneck of the jungle towards that bottom lane, but it's not gonna be enough. Samsung Blue is on a rampage.
And once again, they are in control of this jungle here. They know where all the members from LMQ are, so Death can just move in, land some good poke. The rest of Samsung Blue can engage in, get the kills they want, get the Dragon again, and just keep the lead.
Dragon Blue very much in control here. Dragon goes their way. It's a 6,000 gold lead, and you've got to start worrying for LMQ. They seem a little bit lost when these fights break out.
So again here, LMQ, I mean, Samsung Blue know where every single member is. They know Fizz is not there for the fight, so they can go in, start it, get the first few kills. Now Xiao joins in to kill Ackerman. Nice hook coming in from Ark. And that's a good ulti here. I mean, you get a lot of members low, but nobody can follow up because you've already lost the team fight.
Just getting stronger and stronger now with a 6,000 gold lead. Still 0 turrets have fallen on the side of Samsung Blue. All 3 on the outside here for LMQ, which only means, as we've been seeing, Samsung Blue putting down the forward wards more and more, slowly moving up that line of pinks as much as they can.
Yeah, and LMQ right now, they only have the Rompo, who's going to be strong in these mid-game fights, and he's even been shut down from the start of the game. Every single member is currently weaker than Samsung Blue, and they can't really go for the fight.
Oh wow, ultimate call once again. Dade moves on in, tries to get himself another kill with more. Sapling touches down. It was a blue landing damage as well that manages to pick it up.
Why are you trying to fight for the blue buff here? You know you're weaker. You just want to buy time at the moment. I mean, look at Xiao. He's been forced to delay his Lich Bane because he needs some armor. He doesn't have it completed yet. He can't fight. At the same time, Vasily only sits on 50. Oh! Ackerman going down as well.
He is dead.
The equalizer only said I'm easier to fight right there for coming in. Nice try on Dade. He tries to get a few back and forth, gets himself taken down, but at what cost? They're going to lose this bottom turret and clean up a minion wave. It's not going to be working out too well. Samsung Blue definitely coming out bigger on that one. And they are now going to have a 8,000 gold lead. Almost 20 minutes into the game. A lot of those item spikes missing from LMQ's mid-game where they want those spikes. Dragons aren't going to be in their favor, and they're being hit all on the side of Samsung Blue.
And this is honestly a solid response from Samsung Blue. Oh no. Oh, no. They are completely caught out of position. Vasily leaps away. Is the rocket jump enough? No. Def manages to lock him down. The teleport comes in, but I think that's just going to be another victim for Samsung Blue. Ackerman joins the fight. In they go. Slides on through. Triple kill for Def. Thank you very much. It is all too easy for the Korean team right
It's
now.
not over yet. I mean, that 4 wards in this bush here. That's what you need.
Oh no, there you go. They spotted him out there. Is the Penta available? It's a long way off. I don't think he's going to work out.
You don't have enough sweepers to put out the amount of wards that Blue is just putting in each brush. Deft over the wall, looking for these kills still. No Name was not able to get out. The bug goes splat. Is it going to be the inside the park Penta here coming in? Xiao would be the last one. The 3 before, the 2 now. And that is the extended Penta for Deft.
And LMQ at the moment, I mean, obviously they are so far behind. They cannot win these fights here. It was all due to Samsung Blue shutting down Ackerman at the start. He never got going. He could never get to this point where we could have the first dragon fight. Perfect ulti from him, get some targets low, then suddenly Xiao could pick up the kills he needed to snowball hit him on the face. We're just going to see it again. Setting up a trap here. LMQ's like, okay, let's just push the tower. They already recalled. Nope, they didn't. Managed to finish the Vasily here. Deft is so strong on this poke in this mid-game and can just clean up the fight.
The ability for Samsung to read these, know that they're going to get everything in their favor is incredible. It looks like these plays are happening without any thought to hesitate.
Diving on in there. As I was about to say, they are out really answering the critics very well, of course. That loss to Fnatic will absolutely have upset them. And of course, their Korean fans back at home. They would have definitely put a gigantic question mark. But Samsung Blue, their early game has been impeccable in this game. They're now 14-2 up with a gigantic 11,000 gold lead. Just 22 minutes into this one. More just being pursued and pushed out of his own jungle. Vasily, he dare not wander from his lane.
We really do see Samsung Blue with a different style compared to what they did against Fnatic. Where they were like, okay, we're 2 members here, you're 5 members, let's go for the fight anyway. Oh, we lost it. We lost our tower as well, and we lost the game. I mean, in this game here, they made sure they had the numbers advantage. They made sure they could always take the right fights. They had wards placed, picked up the kills, got the poke in from the Corki.
And this is with LMQ getting a lot of the champions that they like to play, barring Xiao on this Fizz. More pushed onto Braum. He has as many games as he does on Thresh. 8-2 over his 7-3 Thresh. So he's very comfortable on this Braum. It's just been Samsung Blue playing impeccably throughout this entire game. You can see they want more fights. The Talisman of Ascension finished out here for Heart so they can keep things going. I don't see a disengage in the near future for them. They are engaging everything that they can.
And just taking full control again of the jungle. Keep talking about how, again, these teams, when they get the lead in the mid-game, they go into the mid-jungle, place all the wards, and then you can just start moving between lanes. I mean, look the way they've positioned themselves. Darted down this bottom lane, has his blade completed, did go into 10-second item, wanted to get some one-on-one power, some split-pushing power, and then Akon teleport as well, or almost teleport. Let's see though, LMQ, they're looking for the fights.
Jump the Waters will go through, but it just simply is dragged out of. Spirit disengages on that one. LMQ tried to collapse, tried to create just something out of nothing on Samsung Blue, but they are so well equipped, so well covered in terms of vision. Now Heart going looking. He's looking towards Xiao, and Dade just comes on around and puts pressure on! Deft finds another victim. 8-1-4 now on that Corki.
Definitely turning his game around from earlier, guys. It's absolutely incredible. We said the emotions we saw out of Deft were quite strong, but he has put those aside. The coaches obviously helping a lot with the Korean teams to settle their players, understand what the problem was, and then display that, portray it to them in a way that they can then use in the game.
I mean, he probably felt he lost the game against Fnatic because he was caught so many times by Charms from Xpeke, and it was a bad game from him. Yesterday, he was also caught out of position in one of the games here. They did manage to win it, but still, we saw some shaky performance from Deft, who's normally the guy known as like the god of positioning and the god of team fights. Definitely stepping up in this game. He only had one mistake where he actually ended up dying, but the rest have been pretty solid.
Currently, Samsung Blue move in, clean out the Dragon, continue their dominance. 5-0 in towers, full control. LMQ, they are pushing towards the Baron, unsure whether they were going for it themselves. way too early for them to try and push it. They don't have the power right now. Only one item completed on the majority of members of LMQ. They are so far behind in terms of gold, in terms of power, in terms of everything. They have just been outplayed and outsmarted by Samsung Blue so far in this game.
Yeah, Samsung Blue right now should just set up wards around this Baron here, force LMQ to walk out and face check you, take the fight, kill them, take the Baron, and push into the base. They are so far ahead. They have so many items completed already here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no mid-game left for Samsung Blue. They're already way into the late game of their items.
The ability for Dade to put a quick silver sash in already. We see SSB knowing they're a little bit behind, puts the blue elixir in quite early to try and get an extra spike in his damage throughout these fights. It's going to be Samsung Blue starting up with the Baron. Looks quite dark in the eyes of LMQ as they approach.
But they have to try and go for this fight here and go for the steal. They're going in.
The equalizer goes down. Is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. No Name gets just massacred off of the side there. Vasily now focused on. He has to rocket jump away, but Def finds himself another victim. Comes in, goes up, gets a second, gets a third. Scumbag Dade gets in there and gets himself on the board though. It's a 4-for-0. Such a clean fight for Samsung Blue. Kind of what you'd expect from a team so far ahead.
Yeah, again, exactly what we just talked about before. Set up the Baron, started, force LMQ to come and face check you and just jump them, clean them, kill this Baron here, go towards the base.
A complete turnaround from the game we saw earlier, and it looks like Samsung Blue begins to tighten their stranglehold onto LMQ here. 47,000, which is going to go up quite a bit with this Baron. Probably hitting 50 on the mark to 32.7. Just a matter of time before they continue in. Oh, Hart getting caught out here. Not even going to need the fish on that one, but is Deft going to try to answer back without the vision? Doesn't feel like he wants it, and he just is outside of the spikes. Oh, man.
Here.
They're going to try and put him down. Xiao, is it going to be enough for the Sony's Hourglass? Deft has so much damage. Acorn comes in to support him. They're going to turn this around in a 2v4 situation. He comes in, manages to lock the twist and advance. It's a double for Deft. They continue to push on through. The regeneration of the Baron and the power of the lifesteal is working so well. Vasily has to use the buster shot to force him away. And Daddy comes around the side and locks him down.
Now Samsung Blue can just push into the base here. They got the kills they wanted, they got the picks here. LMQ, they had to try something, so they just went for a few kills. They didn't have an option. I mean, you can't just sit back in your base and wait for Samsung Blue to finish. They had to go for some kills. Didn't work out.
The definitive moves coming out now when Samsung, either white or blue, knows they have the lead. They put the pedal to the metal and they do not stop. Something, you know, we said we saw from LMQ in the North American LCS, coming back dragon after dragon. They pretty much go through the batting order to keep fighting, but it just seems like Samsung Blue on a whole different level as they bring around the batting order 3 or 4 times here to keep these fights going.
Currently Samsung Blue pushing on through. 28 minutes in this game, and look at that, they do make mistakes. Double pink ward placed.
What does it mean?
I mean, we saw 4 wards in one bush as well. I mean, clearly tactics.
Oh, No Name having to use his ultimate to get out of dodge there. Samsung Blue trying to hook in towards him. Xiao trying to create any pressure that he can, but it is so hard when you're this far behind. You dare not leave their base right now. That middle inhibitor will be respawning soon. There's one saving grace, and of course Hart's Baron buff was worn off, but not a single skill shot was landed between the 2 supports.
We have to consider the next time these guys face off, it's going to be different. LMQ has played this group, the group of death, very well and can still find themselves in a 1 or 2 spot. Doesn't look like Samsung Blue wants any of that nonsense, though. They go right in onto Moore so he cannot help heal for the team. And LMQ is trying to find the fountain because anywhere inside their base is not safe right now.
Deft is looking for a high score record, I think. 14 kills in one game so far. Absolutely ripping LMQ apart. And those rockets have been absolutely on point finding that mark. He's just going to look to peel across the side there. Ackerman not going to fall for it. 1 Nexus turret goes down. The second will follow. Here they go. Can he get more kills? There's 1 as he goes legendary once again. Gets himself the double. Tries to get Vasily on the fountain. Doesn't quite have the damage to pour on towards him. He desperately wants to pick up 1 more, but it is 16 kills for Deft in the end, and a dominant victory for Samsung Blue over LMQ.
And they just completely snowballed from the early game here. The Rumble pick was what LMQ had in the mid game to kind of power them up and get them into this late game on the fist. on the Tristana. Samsung Blue, they knew it. They put all the focus from level 1 on shutting him down with the lane swap here, denying any possible farm options and kept him down.
You know, we were looking at this game earlier on when we saw Fnatic take down Samsung Blue, and we were a little bit fearful of the backlash potential from Samsung Blue. And that man right there, Deft, he was in tears, distraught at the loss to Reckless, who he looked up and respected, named himself Reckless in the Korean solo queue, but a 16-1-6 turnaround.
Absolutely
What a
incredible. It's so much credibility to these players, as well as we said before, the coaches that are able to calm them down, let them know this is the way, that's the way, this is what went wrong, and Deft, that was 100% flip from what we saw in the last game. Perfect positioning, all the Reddit threads we saw coming true, the dodging, the skill shot giving.
Especially skill shot.
That was the Deft we were hearing about.
It all just worked out well. I mean, they knew that Ackerman was going to be going with Rumble. It's the third time he's picked it in 3 games.
Right.
If one team or one country knows what to do against the Rumble, it is Korea. They were the ones that just championed it for so long throughout Season 3 and Season 2 beforehand. They knew exactly what was coming. They countered it perfectly, and they just completely put him out the game.
And again, they knew, Rumble, mid-game, we need to shut you down. The rest of the members have to go late game here to be stronger than us. And as soon as Rumble was shut down, they could just take dragon fights, they could poke away, and just be so strong as they were here, especially Death on this Corki. Trinity Force, get some magic pen on your boots, and suddenly you could just become a god. You can kill everyone, 1v2, 1v3, it doesn't even matter. And I love the fact every single member from Samsung Blue after the game walked up to him, started cheering, gave him a hug and was like, hey, good job, man, you're back now. This was very important for him that he bounced back. It was very, very clear, and the rest of the team knew it as well.
A very strong game indeed. I feel bad for anybody that tries to pick up Rumble after this, because it looks like you're going to be a focus in that game. Lep got it, and we just got Ackerman getting it over and over again. And we saw Samsung Blue quite different that game, and I think people are going to take notice. They turned into a very aggressive early game team.
And of course, cracks his group wide open as well. 3 teams on 2-1, 1 on 1-2. It is really a group of death.
Yeah. Just quickly go back to the game. I did find it a bit weird LMQ stuck to this top lane with the lane swap. They kept walking up there, and obviously Samsung Blue was there to just constantly fight them, which meant Ackerman never got any farm. He didn't go into the jungle with no name and just said, okay, we lost the top lane, or we lost the top side. It's gone. Let's go down bottom side, get some farm, get a tower. Didn't actually do it. They should definitely have adapted to it.
Maths is, of course, hard. 2-on-2-1, 2-on-1-2. That's what I meant. I knew what I meant, but it is close nonetheless. Of course, we are at the midway point in Group C. Well, you got to keep your eyes on it, that's for sure. For an in-depth look, though, at this match, let's send it over to Quick Shot and Company on the desk.
Thank you very much, guys. And that was a very exciting game to end off the day. Samsung Blue came out swinging. I think the guys in the desk hit it really, really well. If any region's going to know how to counter Rumble, Rumble's been seen as a very top-tier pick, at least at this World Championship. Lane swaps and really just focused aggression on that champion. Ackerman didn't stand a chance because Blue just completely soloed him out. Let's talk about how Samsung Blue got control and really just ran over LMQ.
Yeah, so one thing I do like is that they kept the aggression going. I know a lot of times we talk about teams that gank a top laner and you give up Dragon for it. It's a pretty standard play. The team receiving the gank just shows up on the other side of the map and hey, they got global gold instead of you getting that kill. But what I liked was that, first of all, Spirit was on a heavy ganking jungler like Jarvan, so they just kind of kept going. And you might get Dragon once, but they're going to kill Ackerman like 7 times and get control of that turret and whatnot. So I thought that was actually very good to just sort of repeat the process over and over again.
I just wonder why did they keep going top? You know, like, have you not learned, like, if you can't get anything top? 2 waves went to the tower and they didn't get any XP. Yeah, sure, you're 3 people keeping 4 other guys busy. Normally in the game of League of Legends, that's good. But if you're not getting any XP, you're not even taking your double golems, you're basically 3 people staying on the same level while everybody else is just farming. Yeah, sure, Vasili's down bottom, like, trying to farm, but he didn't do anything in the game. And then even then, once they started rotating from top to mid, Vasili was still farming bottom, and they need Vasili to make the plays. They need Vasili to get fed LMQ, and that didn't happen, and it just completely got shut down.
I think a key part in that had to be that Blue was able to get 3 buffs in level 1, which completely wrecks the jungler in the early game, and they were putting a lot of pressure in level 2 and 3 in that top side, which, as a jungler, you start thinking, I gotta get back to farming. I can't waste my time and just sit here in this lane trying to watch the other guys. Like, they're just sightseeing.
Yeah, definitely the hero of that game, though, to me was Deft. And the adaptation he made from previous games where he's playing Kog'Maw, immobile, late game AD carry, to this game he's playing Corki, more playmaking, mobility champion, I think it suits him a lot better.
LMQ helped him out with the Kog'Maw ban.
That's true.
Yeah, we said that in Picks and Bans.
Wow, my brain like blinked on what I was going to talk about. Oh no, I remember now. Yeah, I like how fast Samsung Blue played the game, because you talked about the fact that Tristana's getting solo farm and everyone else is sharing farm up there. So to kind of like spell that out in a different way, Tristana needs to get to about 7,000-8,000 gold, Infinity Edge plus Static Shiver Phantom Dancer, maybe 9,000 before she starts turning on and being useful. She didn't actually hit that mark throughout this game. So Samsung Blue are basically denying everyone else who has mid-game impact. Right? None of them, those three guys up there, getting any gold or any experience. Samsung Blue are actually scaling up somewhat here in this game. So then, when 20 minutes rolls around, mid-game happens, well, Tristana's still useless, even though she got that solo lane farm. It hasn't meant a single thing to LMQ, and the rest of the game is snowballing.
So before we go over to an interview, I do have a question for Crumbs, because last time this happened, I remember quoting every incorrect analyst and then looking at you gloriously down the line. You were of the belief Samsung Blue, psychologically, were going to be absolutely destroyed, and it looked completely the opposite. They came in here
How does it feel,
as
Crumbs?
stern as ever.
How does it feel?
I've
to
come
be on
with,
this side of the
with
equation?
only one conclusion. You know, everybody says, oh, Group C, Group of Death. It's actually the Group of Life now, because just like life, this Group of C is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
It's one's journey through a box of chocolates.
I did not expect that level of like depth, and like my mind is blown. Doublelift, how do you follow that?
How do you counter that?
I just want to say this is the most interesting group of the tournament for me personally, and I just think it's crazy because Samsung Blue lost to Fnatic, who lost to OMG, who lost to LMQ, who has now lost to Samsung Blue. You have no idea what's going to happen in this group. It's just absolutely insane.
All right, let's talk a little bit about LMQ, of course, on the other side. They really did struggle. We've already talked about some of the decision making. Actually, I have just heard that the interview is ready, so let's head over to Shocks, where she is joined by Deft from Samsung Blue.
Thank you very much. Quick shot indeed joined here by Deft. Deft, first up, congratulations, and immediately the question, why did you guys decide to go so full-on aggressive in this game versus LMQ?
LMQ와 경기할 때 왜 이렇게 공격적인 픽들 고르셨나요, 혹시?
일단 푸나틱이랑 저희가 경기를 할 때 좀 후반에 센 픽들을 뽑았다가 초반부터 질질 끌리게 됐는데, 그래서 이번에는 좀 초반부터 강한 픽을 뽑아서 빠르게 이기고 싶었어요.
So our game against Fnatic, we picked champions that needed time and farm for late games, and obviously that didn't work out. So against LMQ, we tried to pick champions that are more dominant during the laning phase.
And you were a lot more dominant as well. We saw you being quite sad after that loss. What do you do in between those games to pick yourself back up?
푸나틱 전에서 진 이후로 좀 되게 슬픈 모습을 보여줬는데 어떻게 좀 기운을 차리셨나요?
일단 팀원들이나 감독님, 코치님이 잘 다독여 주신 것도 있고, 또 상대 팀 원딜이었던 레클리스 선수가 와서 막 포옹도 해주고, 그래서 어떻게 잘 풀린 것 같아요.
Mainly my teammates, the coach, managers, they cheered me up a lot. And also Fnatic's Reckless, he came over and gave me a hug. And yeah, that was really big help for me.
Reckless also mentioned beforehand how he was very nervous playing against you in that lane. Do you think you can beat him if you get the rematch on Sunday?
레클레스 선수가 여기 인터뷰할 때 데프 선수랑 경기할 때 되게 긴장했다고 했는데 일요일 날 재경기하면 이길 수 있을 것 같으세요?
일단 레클리스 선수도 굉장히 잘하는 선수이기 때문에 이길지 못 이길지는 잘 모르겠지만 코그모만 안 하면은 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
So Reckless is a really great player, and I think it's gonna be a really hard game. So I'm not gonna play Kog'Maw next time. So yeah, but I think we can win.
All right, well, thank you very much and congratulations. And as for us, we're gonna kick it back over to the guys at the desk for some final thoughts on that game.
Thank you, Shocks. And yeah, if a hug from Reckles gives you the power to win a game, then I'm going to be hugging Mata when I get to the final.
All right, let's finish talking about how Samsung Blue took down LMQ. We do have a replay of that ridiculous level 3 team fight in the mid lane. Let's pull that up onto your screen. And let's start this one off. I know, Crepper, you were talking a little bit, getting quite excited. Anyone wants to chime in? Roll this clip out and talk us through the craziness that's
I mean, it's all kinds of crazy. You shouldn't open with a fish here if you respect your opponent. Dade can win well all the time. Good roam from Acorn comes in. Xiao somehow manages to come out here alive, even though Ackerman TP's in. If you look at Bottom Facility, he's nowhere near.
He throws an Acorn right here, trying to catch him off with a part of himself. Too slow.
Crumbs is too proud of that pun, by the way.
But yeah, they're too far ahead. They're all, I think everybody's a single level higher than, or at least like 1 or 2 levels higher than their single opponent. And look at what Dade is doing.
Watch Dade here. It's
just
ridiculous that he could live in this situation.
He just went with the flow.
And then he stabs him in the heart.
Yeah,
Look
he
at this
got
guy,
full
dude. What a
flow
thug.
back.
He's just like,
That's
right in the face.
He hit him so hard he doesn't even have a name anymore.
Oh, no. Okay, first of all, Acorn pun, no. Flow, yes, but you shouldn't have like reacted. Nevertheless.
I like the Maokai so much because it's kind of like Acorn grew up into a mighty tree.
No.
Right, we're getting a bit silly, so let's...
I'm more of a chestnut kind of guy.
Let's scroll along. It's the time of the show where we walk a mile in Crumbs or the Jungler's shoes for the segment that we like to call... Thank you very much. All right, first clip. It is Najin White Shield versus Cloud9 and Balls. He narrowly avoids a gank.
It's a good reflex on the Cocoon, basically. Basically, as soon as he sees the animation, he thinks that was probably Cocoon coming out there. It could have been an auto attack to mess with him and just throws Cocoon afterwards, but still a good flash.
Next up, Najin White Shield versus Alliance. This was a mid lane.
It's a good roam from Nif. Really good roam from Nif, and then just clean up immediately. Fargan aggressively flashing in with Gold Card is exactly what they needed right here. And then Nif levels up to level 6, has the ulti to safety. And once you get winning in a fight with Zilean and you know your support has ultimate and you trust him enough to use it properly, you can just go ham.
Finally, OMG versus Fnatic, and Soaz, he dropped.
At this point, I think Soaz was just on tilt, to be honest, and he's just getting 3-man here, and there's really nothing he can do. He also shields nothing here, because he expects the double bomb. He shielded too early.
His shield was already on.
It
He shielded from like Irelia and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Nice. It's like you've done this one before. Let's take a look at the standings after the 6 games have been played and are now locked into our match history. We've got a lot to talk about. Group C, as D-Man so rightly pointed out, 2 teams on 2 and 1 with LMQ and Samsung Blue. Then Fnatic and OMG at 1 and 2. Fova in the Group D side, Najin White Shield currently 3 and 0. Cloud9 2 and 1. Alliance 1 and 2. And Kaboom 0 and 3. Nobody's completely locked in this spot. Nobody's guaranteed to advance yet. If you drop games in this next half, it's going to be very difficult to bounce back. Freak?
So the interesting thing is, especially in Group C, all the 1 and 2 teams, they can actually guarantee a #1 spot of the group by just winning the next 3 games and then winning any potential tiebreakers. Like, Fnatic and OMG both can just be like, all right, just show up in the last 2 days and just, just win against everyone else.
Right?
But as far as like mathematical possibilities, they're in complete control of their own seeding.
I'm really glad I won't be on the desk for some of these games so I can avoid the predictions for Group C, because I'm done. I'm seriously just done with trying.
How do you prepare for it, though? I mean, we see Fnatic. I think they're the ones that are the Fnatic and LMQ have got the starkest contrast, right? LMQ yesterday looked ridiculously good, and today they looked ridiculously lost. Fnatic have this incredible performance against Samsung Blue, and then drop the ball elsewhere. I mean, how do you come into this? Double lift, some thoughts?
I think a lot of it comes down to these teams are... You have to be really flexible in your style. You have to be able to play against so many different styles of teams, especially in the Group of Death. I mean, this group, I've been wrong on like every prediction today and probably like every other day. But anyways, it's just really hard because you don't know if these teams are able to adapt to the styles of Fnatic, of Samsung Blue. It's just so hard.
I think it's not exactly the teams being able to adapt, but tunnel visioning on what they're doing. Like, we see these teams play the same strategy like 2-3 games in a row, and then it fails, and then they realize, oh, we got to change. Then they lose again, and then, oh, we changed. Put it into a winning strategy, then ride that one against all the other teams. Doesn't work again, and then it fails. They need to really just be understanding of why these compositions and strategies work against each other. It touches up on what you mentioned about being flexible.
So Crumbs and Crepo, Cloud9 and Alliance respectively, what are they going to do in the other half? Alliance, he didn't miss. They picked up a win against Kaboom. They've had 2 close-fought losses. I think that's the way I'm going to phrase it. Against Cloud9, they were still in it for a while. Against Najin Shield, they were in it for a while. Cloud9, on the other hand, the talent pick, their play style, what are we expecting from the respective teams?
I think Alliance just needs to sit down, watch those replays, and analyze where they went wrong strategically. They now know, they need Froggen on a playmaker, they need comfort champions on everybody else, but they need to analyze their mistakes, especially in terms of rotations and in build paths in certain cases as well.
I think that Najin's probably feeling very comfortable in the position that they're in. You know, they're playing Kaboom one more time. That almost certainly guarantees them a 4-0 in their group already. So I'd expect Cloud9 and Alliance to have each other in their sights and nobody else. So as you said, watch the replays, but I think for this matchup, the mid laner seems to be the most impactful thing. We saw Najin kind of exploit mid lane, bringing out a talent pick from high that did not pan out. So I think if Froggen can try to do the same thing against Cloud9, it might just turn the tides in their favor.
Well, they do play that tomorrow, game 2 of the day. Not a lot of time. Alliance then play Najin Shield later in the day, so not a lot of time for them. Talking about the schedule, we are back tomorrow with another full day of action, starting with the match between Fnatic and OMG. Then, as I've mentioned, Alliance will battle the North American team Cloud9. We'll actually close out the day with Alliance returning to the Rift to take on Korea's Najin White Shield, potentially maybe their final match of World Championships if they continue losing. We will see. Right, those matches will begin 3 hours earlier on Saturday. So it starts at 8 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And a special note for those of you in the Pacific time zone, those matches will hit your browsers at 11 p.m. tonight. So make sure you set a reminder because you don't want to miss any of the action. I would once again like to thank all of our special guest analysts for sharing their insights on all of our matches for today. For myself, the casters, and the entire world's broadcast team, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back in approximately 14 hours for day 3.
Which is too soon.
Not soon enough. Lovely.
Very excited for today. All these matches on paper look really close, so it should be a very action-packed day.
Meanwhile, Tab's taking all the damage, will be brought back to life thanks to his support. Zephyr jumps on, there is the hook coming in, they kill Shug, can they kill Tab? He's still going! Again, Fnatic inside, screwy left, back range, onto Acorn, we'll get the one, Heart will be the next one! Sneaky less than half HP. Balls is there as well. Oh! They finish him off. They do get one.
This entire day is going to be beasts of matches, but for sure here, Yellowstar again goes down without the rest of the team as he tries to pull them away, but they will not follow him. They will be looking for the W.
The monsoon lands. Danagons is going to get focused. He gets burnt on down. Shug goes deep. Punts and left straight back in towards the line. Death Sentence land pulls him in. Dane taken out. Slides out of the way.
Nice.
Yeah!